It's that time in Tarkov again. Stash is empty and no money, so it's time for another jackpot. And that's today's topic. I'm gonna show you how to make a lot of money in Tarkov. And I read all your comments on the last guide, and that's why this guide is without any document cases, sick cases, without keys, no fixed routes, and without any PvP, so you don't have to go to high value loot spawns.
Are you sure about that?
Furthermore, this works as a scav just as well as with your PMC. Sounds too good to be true? No, it's actually true. The only thing that makes your life easier with this tactic is a lucky scav box. But it's something you want to have anyway, so I think that's okay. Now first off, what's the main problem with most money guides? Now most of those guides use a fixed route or a certain room that you visit over and over and over again. I started out with Pestoli's electronics room guide for reserve, for example. Now don't get me wrong, the video was great, but there are some major issues with fixed routes. For example, well, high loot spawns are usually not without PvP. So for example, for the electronics room, it was pretty common for me to die on this route. And this lowers the efficiency of this run by a lot. And since now we have dynamic loot, there is another problem. Well, if you're unlucky, the room is just empty. Yeah, that does bug a bit, but still, you could get unlucky and the room just doesn't have anything valuable inside. So that's the problem with those fixed routes. So what are we doing differently then to get a lot of rubles? Simple, we are efficient. Yeah, that one word that your boss brings up every Friday afternoon. We are gonna optimize our rubles per hour ratio. And it all begins by selecting places that nobody goes to check, because you want to avoid PvP. For example, now the backside of Goshan is pretty empty and pretty quiet. There you just grab everything from the shelves. It doesn't matter if the items are not worth that much. We are not looking for valuable items, we are looking for many items in a very short period of time. Because our main goal here is to fill our backpack as fast as possible and leave the raid as fast as possible. I mean, of course, you can always switch out items for more valuable stuff, but still, keep it short. And then when you're out of raid, you need to do 3 things. First, everything that you find on a regular base goes into your lucky scav box. Of course, this needs some time to figure out, but eventually you will know what items you find more regularly. Then after doing this, you sell everything that's worth something to the traders. Well, to the traders. For example, Therapist pays a lot for valuables and stuff. And now you just have to sell what's remaining to the flea market. Now this has one major advantage. This way, by stashing certain items in the lucky scav box, we have to sell way less and we don't have to wait for our free market slots to get free again. At least at the beginning, it's free slots. And by stashing those items in the lucky scav box, we avoid the situation that you just sit there and sell items minute after minute. Instead, you sell everything that you don't collect and go into your next raid. Now, of course, your lucky scav box will fill up over time. And if you're doing it right, you have a lot of the same items inside. Especially if you play the same map over and over again. And now you just keep doing that. Stash the items that you collect in your lucky scav box, sell the valuables to trader, sell the rest to the flea market, queue again. Keep the raids short, collect everything and leave again. Now I personally try to keep my raids below 10 minutes. So really rush through the map, pick everything and leave. Avoid PvP at all costs. And of course, it can always happen that you just encounter some players. And if this happens more regularly, you can switch to your scav. And depending on the karma, you can do that a lot. On this account, mine is currently in the negative, so well. Anyway, you do the exact same thing. So you collect everything and extract. You want to maximize your efficiency. So keep it short. And then you do the exact same thing again. Stash the items that you find more often and sell the rest. And then eventually your lucky scav box is full. And now what you do, you open this second window, this cache that got implemented last Y, pretty cool thing. And now you use shift and mouse one click to move all the items that you want to sell. So just pick, I don't know, 3, 4 items that you have a lot, move them to this cache. And when you're done, you don't have to move those items again because you can just close the cache. and it will automatically move all the items inside the cache into your stash. This makes it a lot easier to move around a lot of items. Now we sell those items. Just make sure that auto select is turned on, then select all the items of one kind, enter a price, and there you go. Do that for all the other items that you want to sell. And now you're selling potentially, I don't know, 50 items at once. And depending on the item that you're selling and the price you entered, those items are gone pretty fast. And that's a lot of money that's currently coming in. But you are not paying attention to that because you're queuing already for your next raid. And that's the main concept. But then there's the big question, scav or PMC. Now as a scav, it's way easier. The servers are usually empty, it's much quieter, you can pick up everything and you have better or at least closer extracts. But as always, there is also a disadvantage to that. Because at the beginning of a raid, every skill has a progress bonus, 129% bonus for leveling that skill. And since as a PMC, when we're farming money this way, we keep our raids very short. That means we're also maximizing the amount of points we get for certain skills. Because if you stay in raid for too long, you lose the bonus and it even gets into the negative, so the progression slows down. But when you keep your raids short, this resets every time and you level your skills at an astonishing speed. And you level everything. At the beginning, endurance when you run around. Then with a lot of loot you get heavy, so strength. Health you get passively. Vitality if you get shot. Metabolism if you eat or drink anything. Perception when you loot. Attention when you loot, and so on. So as you can see, you level a lot of skills at the same time. As your scav, of course, the rounds are way more chill, but you also don't level any skills on your PMC. So you have to decide what is more important to you. Now to the question, how much money can you actually make with this method? Now it took me an average of 7 minutes per raid to collect and extract. And on average, I made around 150,000 rubles per raid. I sold that within 30 seconds and went into the next raid. Now including the items I stashed, I would say you can easily make 1 million to 1.5 million per hour. Depending on your route, depending on how far in the wipe you currently are, and. Now of course you're gonna say, well, I've seen guides that tell me like 3 to 4 millions are possible, and yes, I even did one myself. That's the potential, or at least in most cases. Same with my guide here, I calculated the potential of this run up to 3 millions an hour. But that's if everything goes perfect. This method gets you 1 to 1.5 million rubles always, consistently. And of course, without a key, without a case in your pouch, without PvP, without danger. Just by being smart and efficient. Now, in terms of maps or routes, I can't really recommend anything, because the thing is, as soon as I recommend one route, a lot of people are gonna try it, and well, the route becomes contested and therefore inefficient. And also, routes change, loot changes, depending on where you are in the wipe, so I can't really recommend just one route. So try what works for you, test different routes, see what works, what doesn't, or ask around a little bit, for example on our Discord, what other people are doing. But whatever route you take, the method stays, it gets you rubles consistently. That's it with the video. I hope it helps. If it did, thumbs up as always. If you have questions, put them in the comment section down below or join our Discord. Subscribe for more and stay up to date. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.